Hey moms, if you're feeling overwhelmed, run down like you're constantly running on empty, this video is for you. I want you to know that you're not alone. And while motherhood can be one of the most enjoyable, fulfilling, uplifting experiences, it also can be one of the most exhausting. From getting your kids lunch ready in the morning, getting them out the door to school, managing their therapy appointments and their after school activities while still trying to squeak in a moment of self care, it can be overwhelming. And in this video, I want to share with you some resources to be able to fill your own bucket back up. Because we see over and over again in our office that yes, it's so important to take care of our kiddos, but when our own battery starts to drain down, not only does it affect us as a parent, but more importantly, it actually does start to affect our ability to care for and take care of our kiddos. Take Eleanor, for example, as a mom of two young boys. She had had her boys come into our office for quite a while when finally she said, I think it's my turn to get adjusted. She started getting adjusted. She started to notice stress started to decrease. She was sleeping better. She had more energy. And as life does, it gets in the way. They went to spring break. They had other things going on, and she had stopped her adjustments for a while. In the meantime, she had continued working with her mental health therapist. They had done this special safe and sound protocol that she thought was going to relieve and release this old stress. But after a couple months, she came back into her office. She said, Dr. Tye, I'm ready to start again because what I found is that of all the different self care things that I've tried over the years, getting neurologically based adjustments actually helped me feel the most calm, the most regulated, the most peace I've felt amongst my busy, chaotic life. So, this video is for you if you're experiencing, maybe it is constantly feeling stressed in your brain. Maybe it feels like you're always go, 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 like you never have downtime for yourself. Or maybe you start to lose that mental edge, that clarity of mind, and you're just feeling kind of disorganized and scrambled throughout the day. We're going to go into what is happening in your body from a stress standpoint and how to support that, and really how to start to build your own resources and your reserves back up. What we find in our office is that when it comes to mom exhaustion, there's a few common things you might have heard of. Maybe heard of adrenal fatigue. What is happening there is our adrenals are our go, go, go glands in our body. When we get into sympathetic fight, flight stress, which might happen because of an actual stressor, or it might just happen because we're busy. What happens is our adrenals start to pump out adrenaline and cortisol and the go, go, go hormones to try to give us that surge of energy to get things done. If you find that you might have a moment of a surge in the morning, but then you start to deplete, you might say, well, maybe that afternoon latte is going to help me. That'll give me a little resurgence. And you find yourself, your energy going throughout the day, and you get to the end of the day. The kids are finally in bed. Maybe they're falling asleep, and you say, okay, it's my turn. And you hit that level of frustration to know that, man, I've been going strong all day long. I'm completely exhausted, and yet it's going to be tough to sleep tonight. A lot of times it's because there's this imbalance with our stress chemistry and our stress hormones. You might find that in that case, your cortisol levels, one of the hormones your adrenals produce, at nighttime, while it should be coming down, is actually still revved up high. And as a result, you can't drift off to sleep or you toss and turn more than you need to. So, supporting the adrenals is one of the things we see that is critical. And it actually has to do less with getting your adrenal support, but more importantly, the layer before that is why are they getting burnt out in the first place? Has to do with your nervous system. As mentioned, you have that gas pedal, the go, 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 which is needed and critical to get things done, but there's also a brake pedal side to the nervous system. It's called the parasympathetic side, and this brings us down from stress, puts our body into a rest mode to healing recovery. So if you find maybe you're in like chronic tightness and you deal with a lot of headaches, maybe your thyroid is out of balance, or you feel like there's always just like stress and tension in your body, it's often because gas pedal is stuck on and the brake pedal never had a chance to be activated. So this is another thing we're looking for, is that if we find that the brake pedal isn't working properly, that is always step one with the moms that we work with, is get the brake pedal going, because that allows stress to start to come down. And as a result, now your adrenals have a chance to, we say as a gland, kind of plump, 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 plump themselves back up and start to restore and recharge. Because if you're caught in this cycle of fight flight mode, high cortisol at night, using caffeine throughout the day, and now you don't rest, you start the next day just as depleted as you ended the previous day instead of filling your bucket back up. So, when it does come to self care, obviously getting sleep is important, and most people intuitively know this. And it can be really tough though to say, "Well, I just spent all day with the kids. Like I need my own downtime." I've had plenty of nights myself, and my wife the same way, where we get our son in bed and we're like, "Huh, I think Netflix feels really good right now. That's about the bandwidth I have," and I get it. And what I find for myself is one of the most key things I do is after I get my son in bed, if I am just kind of slogging and wiped out, is I said, all right, put the phone away, put the screens away, maybe I read a book, but I give myself permission to use that like exhausted energy just to go straight to bed. Even though it doesn't feel very adult to be in bed by 8 p.m., sometimes it really pays off the next morning. Um, of course, then we have things like making sure you're eating nutrient dense food, getting the fruits and the veggies and things that your body is going to be nourished by. One of the keys that I see that can be very commonly overlooked when it comes to foods for go mamas is making sure that it's something that can be easily digested by the body. You see, when our gas pedal is on and we have fight flight, it actually draws from the rest digest side of things. So digestion actually starts to become impacted, and maybe you notice this with chronic constipation or feeling uneasy after certain foods, or always feel like you're craving more and more of the carbs. The simple to eat foods is often because there's this imbalance. What a simple tip is to aid in your digestion is to actually eat more cooked veggies instead of raw veggies, and eat things that are warm or room temperature. So as an example, in our house, if we think, well, we're going to eat a salad for lunch today, or some vegetables with hummus along with whatever else we're going to eat, we'll actually set them out in the morning, give them a chance to warm up, because cold food shuts down our digestion. Raw food is really tough on our digestion. And if we're going strong, we want to know that all our energy right now might be on fight flight, not on digestion. So we need to give the easiest to digest foods possible. When it comes to asking for help, or making time for yourself, that can be also a really tough thing to do. I know in our house, my wife more commonly can see that I've been going strong. I'm feeling stressed. And she'll be like, "Hey, Tye, do you need to go to the golf course? Do you need to get to the gym and work out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I do. Thank you for offering that." So if you feel like maybe your partner doesn't recognize that as well, I admit I'm still working on it to acknowledge that in my wife. But just having that open line of communication to start to support each other and build in some downtime. One of the things my wife and I do is we find when we have a really full schedule and are feeling overwhelmed, we often just go for like really little moments. So, for an example, this morning after we woke up, we went outside, we did some stretches in the lawn, we do some certain movements to kind of roll around, have fun, but wake ourselves up. And we're getting some light in our eyes, some grass on our feet. And it only takes a few moments, but it's that little moment of rejuvenation that helps spark our day. For myself, there might be in the middle of the day, I find 5-10 minutes just to lie down with my eyes shut and reset my sensory system, get my feet and my body off, holding myself up against gravity. It's very rejuvenating for my nervous system. And while I often want to work through lunch and not do that, I find that 5-10 minutes makes the rest of my day go really well and makes a big difference. And then the last piece, when it comes to really deeply regulating your nervous system, has to do with the neurologically focused chiropractic care that I mentioned for the woman earlier with the two boys. And what we're looking for in our office is one of the keys to regular self care is routine chiropractic because it helps take the edge off of a stressed nervous system. When we talk about that balance before, a nervous system that's stuck in gas pedal mode often has a tough time getting out of it when it goes and goes and goes, and it's been going for days and months and weeks and years because it starts to get wired into the nervous system. And now, pretty soon, your brain, your body, your nervous system, that's all it knows is go, go, go mode. Where chiropractic comes in is we start to activate the brake pedal to bring the nervous system out of that fight flight response. That's why that mom that I mentioned before noticed such a difference with the chiropractic care, was because she could see that that was the biggest influence on her nervous system. So I want to go into one we see very commonly from moms who get adjusted in our office. Number one is they notice that reduced stress and anxiety because the brake pedal starts to be activated. They come out of fight, flight, stress mode. They can take a breath, they can slow down, and they can start to say, all right, I don't have to be chronically stressed. Number two is it's easier to fall asleep at night. It's easier to shut the brain off, wind down, and actually get a good night's sleep instead of tossing and turning. When the brain feels less stressed, it starts to become more clear-headed, able to focus better. You have your list to do for the day, and you remember what's on the list, and you feel organized during the day. Number four is relief and relaxation in the muscles, because stress tightens muscles, and when we can clear stress out, it helps muscles feel more relaxed, plain and simple. Number five, I know my screen's covering it a little bit here, but it says boosted energy and resilience. When our nervous system is in constant fight flight, we spend way more energy than we need to all day long. When we don't sleep well, we don't fill our battery back up. And so we get in this stuck cycle of just being tired and fatigued all the time. When we break that cycle, we start to get energy building back. And then the last piece here, it says the hidden healing boost for your child. And this is one thing that gets discussed, but maybe not enough credit goes towards it. Because what we find is that when the nervous system is under stress, because we're caring for the family and caring for everyone else, it feels like, yeah, we're putting our best interest into our kiddos and raising them to be the best people. However, what happens is a child's nervous system regulates off of whoever is closest to them in their life. Typically, this is parents. This is their teacher, maybe some of their friends. And as a parent, if your nervous system is stuck in stress mode, their nervous system is going to mirror that and start to create more stress just because of these mirror neurons in our brain. They want to imitate what's going on around us. And as kids, they're the most open to seeing what's happening around. That's why like having good role models, good friendships is so important. So by giving yourself self-care, now your nervous system is more regulated, more grounded, and they can mirror that for themselves. So it's one of the biggest gifts that you can actually give your kids is taking care of yourself. So with this video, as we wrap things up here, I want you to know that I see you. I know you're working hard. I know you're putting everything into your family. And if something resonated here, if something hits home and you feel, yeah, it is time for myself, please reach out. We're here for you, and we'll love to take good care of you.